Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and let's talk about X-Men 97. Because apparently X-Men 97 isn't charting on none of the ratings chart at all, which means that nobody's really watching it. Yeah, people aren't watching it. When the Disney Plus shows outside of, we're talking about the live action shows, are doing better than X-Men 97, we have literally lost Marvel. But it's not because X-Men 97 isn't good. It's because because Marvel has damaged the brand to the point where people don't trust it. That nonsense, the last time people tried to give a damn about Marvel was literally Miss Marvel and the Marvels. I think that was like the straw that broke the camel's back for most people, because people are done. People are so wary that they're not even giving X-Men 97 a chance. And 97 is great. It is probably the best thing Marvel's produced. But because Marvel's been giving us 5 years of mediocre bullshit, people are done. People are done. Because let's be honest, even though a lot of us are talking about X-Men 97, the people who are talking about 97, let's be honest, a lot of y'all ain't watching it from Disney Plus. A lot of y'all ain't watching it from Disney Plus. Ooh, tell somebody. Tell somebody. And then another thing too, the whole Bo DeMaio shit. That right there was a turnoff from people when people was hearing that he was talking about his sexuality and how they wanted to bring in a little bit of diversity and inclusion into the X-Men, changing the characters' designs up, making sure the women aren't as figuratively like they should from the original series. People talking about race, gender, sexuality, politics into the X-Men. All of that stuff is a turnoff that gets people wary of giving this show a chance. No, I'm not saying X-Men 97 is terrible. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is Marvel has destroyed Disney has destroyed the Marvel brand to the point where people don't want to give it that much of an opportunity or a chance. And yes, you might see people on social media talking about it, but it's not the audience that they kind of want. They kind of want the kids to be like, oh my God, Marvel, Marvel, Marvel. Oh my God, X-Men, X-Men, X-Men. Kind of like when we were growing up. After the X-Men show ended, we also had X-Men the movie, and they had toys, action figures, comic books, and all kinds of stuff for that. You know what I'm saying? The Fox X-Men stuff was there. It was really fun. It was in the culture zeitgeist. People grew up on it or whatever. But the X-Men animated series has been off the air for a long time because of the whole notion of Disney buying Marvel, knowing that Marvel has split up a lot of their properties with other companies. Disney, being the jackasses that they are, self-sabotage a lot of these Marvel properties because they didn't want to share the profits. Without realizing, before Disney brought these companies and before they brought Marvel, you had Fox, you had Sony, you had Universal, you had Lionsgate, you had these companies holding up Marvel from going, because Marvel went bankrupt several times over. So guess what? They sold their film rights, they sold their universe of certain characters off to these studios so they can make money. When Disney brought it, Disney didn't want to share the profits, didn't like sharing the profits. So what did they do? They purposely self-sabotaged the Fantastic Four. They purposely self-sabotaged the X-Men. They purposely self-sabotaged the Hulk. Name more characters that they didn't have at the time, that was still by other companies. They self-sabotaged them by starting in the comic books, and then they start removing them from the culture zeitgeist. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, no X-Men showed up, right? No X-Men showed up. Marvel vs. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, most of the X-Men characters were downloadable content instead of being part of the game. The same thing with the Fantastic Four. You know what I'm saying? No X-Men games were coming out at all during that time, when Disney also brought them as well. Then what did Disney do? Oh, they got Marvel to be like, hey, Push out the fucking mutants. The Inhumans are going to be our new X-Men. You get what I'm saying? Then we got Miss Marvel. We got the Inhumans. The Terrigen Mist is killing their asses. There were just so many things they went against. They went against the X-Men so much that now that they got the X-Men back and now they're doing something good with the X-Men, people aren't giving it a chance because people are done. Hell, Hasbro done fucked the Hasbro's and them fucked up the design so bad for some of the characters that the X-Men 97 shit is on clearance. The kids aren't picking up these characters because they're not on basic TV. They're not on cable for people to see. Like when we were growing up or whatever, like the streaming shit ain't working. When I was growing up, this stuff was on commercials or whatever. Was there even an X-Men 97 commercial about the toys or about the merchandise or about the comics that you didn't have to try to find out through YouTube? No. When I was growing up, there were commercials. It was in the culture zeitgeist. Not only that, there were video games. Why is there not an X-Men video game promoting X-Men 97 at the same time? All right, because y'all want to do diversity and inclusion nonsense. Y'all want to uglify the female characters. Y'all want to put in LGBT themes that makes no damn sense. Then let's go back to the whole Bo DeMaio thing. Yes, we get it. He's a black gay man. That's great. But people don't care. People don't want to hear that. Then you have the argument of the X-Men is for everybody. Then what happened? They took the X-Men, they did the whole mutant Krakoa thing, then they turned them into mostly LGBT people. They really did. Half of the X-Men characters are gay. That doesn't bode well when you're trying to have a show promoting them. As much as people say that shit doesn't matter. X-Men was one of the highest selling comic books of all time. And it's one of the most diverse teams of all time. But they decided that this team needed to be more diverse, more inclusive. So let's make them mutant terrorists almost. Let's make them socialists, secludists. Let's also have a gala where they're dressing up in fashion and all that nonsense, which all of this is kind of targeted to the LGBT community, because if you were thinking about it, the people who are praising the show the most, the people who are getting like the screening press, the people who are getting to go to this stuff are mostly LGBT people. And that's niche. That is a niche thing. But you want this shit to be successful, but you pushed out long-term fans to get that audience. You can't have it both ways. You get what I'm saying? The whole point of getting not getting a new audience, the whole point of making a show like this is to get the fans to relive a time that they missed, but also to bring in new audience. But when you have all of this nonsense happening surrounding the X-Men and Disney self-sabotaging the brand just because they didn't want to share profits at first, kills the franchise and kills any momentum of people wanting to give the X-Men a chance. Once again, because I don't want people to take this the wrong way, I'm not saying X-Men 97 isn't good. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is all the bullshit surrounding X-Men 97 is the reason why people aren't watching X-Men 97. You get what I'm saying? That's the problem. That is the problem. You have literally self-sabotaged and destroyed the franchise so much. The X-Men franchise been heavily destroyed by Marvel ever since I would probably say 2014 maybe. 2014 I would say X-Men Days of Future Past was when things started taking a turn, because that's when 2015 was all new, all different. That's when we start getting X-Men characters coming out of nowhere being fucking gay. We're starting to retcon characters' histories. We're starting to say that the Terrigen Mist is poison to the mutants, which that is untrue, because if you guys read Son of M, where Quicksilver goes through this whole entire process of trying to use the Terrigen to unlock his mutant abilities, and his daughter Luna, it's a whole confusing mess. But trust me, the Terrigen's never been poisons to the mutant population. It's just that they did it just so they can push out the mutants or whatever. It has been nothing but nonsense after nonsense. And I feel sorry. I really feel sorry. They stopped making merchandise for X-Men. By X3. I think X3 was probably the last time they made like merchandise stuff for the X-Men. You know what I'm saying? You stop getting that. There were no X-Men shirts or anything being sold at the time. So all of this just cul-de-sac to people just saying fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's not X-Men 97's fault. It is everybody at Disney and Marvel's fault for this reasoning. You guys allowed all of this nonsense to happen to where now, honestly, the X-Men is an LGBT franchise. Like it, for better or for worse, it's a diversity, inclusion, DEI nonsense. And it shouldn't be that. But it is. Because you got the gala where it seems like every other damn month, every other week, a new straight X-Men character is all of a sudden gay. Then you dress them up in like these tacky fashionista clothes that nobody asked for. There's always an argument about Charles Xavier and Magneto being Professor Xavier. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, which that's been debunked several times over. You know what I mean? It is the most damning thing I've ever seen. Y'all have literally destroyed the franchise to the point where you have something good with X-Men, but people said hell no because Disney has burnt them in the past couple of years and has destroyed the X-Men franchise to get back at fucking Fox. Then you buy Fox, and now what? You want to try to fucking fix the franchise? It's too late. You should have never fucking destroyed it in the first place. You should have kept it in the culture zeitgeist like it used to be, like these franchises used to be. That's the problem with Marvel and DC now, is that by the time we got to the 2010s, you bitches decided to destroy the franchises because this or that or whatever to get back at this person, tit for tat. Didn't think that the old fans were like this shit no more, so let's change shit up, let's culture shock them and everything. No, this shit should have never been. And now look at you. You got a good show, X-Men 97, and nobody's watching it. Nobody's watching and the ratings for the Nielsen and all that kind of stuff, the stuff that tracks streaming and television series, is not charting. That's the problem. I'm not sitting up here saying people aren't watching it, because y'all know there are ways of watching shit without being subscribed to shit. So let's not kid ourselves. Okay? But yeah. Those are my thoughts on X-Men 97 not being watched. It's kind of sad. And if you guys want to, you can check out WDW Pro. He goes in more depths than I do. I'm just talking about it from my kind of personal experience from X-Men. But they talk about it. They brings up the ratings and where they talk about everything. So if you check out WDW Pro, and they can give you the rest of it. But I'm just letting you know from my experience on, damn, this kind of sucks though. But hey, it is what it is. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.